Do I need a DA? A DA being development application or town planning approval. Now, in today's video, what I was hoping to do was give you kind of some insight into the 6 different things that I personally, as a town planner, look at when I'm trying to answer this exact question. And then most importantly, what I want to do at the end is kind of give you some tips, let's just say, on how you can speed up the response timeframes, how you can increase the accuracy of the feedback that you get from a town planner, and how you can just generally ensure that you get more usable feedback, let's just say, something you can actually take action on at the end of the day. Now, I was thinking about this last night as I was laying in bed and I was going through, okay, I need to talk about this and I need to make sure I talk about that. And I was like, oh, this is one of those videos where I could go down some weird and wonderful tangents. Like I could really go off track with some rabbit holes here. I need to make sure I'm going to stay on track. So what I did before I ran the office just before, scribbled down a couple little points here. So I'm going to work through my little checklist and hopefully I don't take you down too many rabbit holes today. So let's start with the 6 different things that I work through. Number 1, first and foremost, I'm looking at the zoning. So is the proposed use or the thing you're aiming to do on this property is actually in keeping with council's intention for that zoning, what they want to see in that zoning? Because that's going to determine, is it going to not trigger an application or is it going to trigger an application? Next, I'm looking at overlays. Okay, have you got some real wishy-washy, innocuous type overlays on there? Like if you got, say, for example, the community purposes overlay or the road hierarchy overlay or something that just leaves me going, oh, that is not applicable. We do not give a damn about that. In the nicest possible way, we do not give a damn about that sort of stuff. Or is it something weird and wonderful and unique, like the water resource overlay or the wetland overlay or the landslide overlay, like one of those overlays that you do not come across every single day that throw up some lovely little curveballs, let's just say. Number 3, I'm looking at neighbourhood plans. So again, similar to the overlays, are we talking real wishy-washy, innocuous type one? Innocuous, if I get my words out, type ones. So for example, like the Ashgrove Grange one or the inaugural one. Or are we talking something a bit more problematic, like the West End Wollongabba one or the Moggle one, or one of those ones that can totally change the game and send you off in a different direction? Because again, that's going to, and you're going to see a common theme here, that's going to determine whether we do or don't trigger a DA. There's a car trying to reverse in front of me and they are not doing a good job. They're coming in like a 90-degree angle. Let's see how this goes. Anyway, point number 4 is TLPIs, temporary local planning instruments. Now, at the moment, there's nothing too crazy out there. However, recently we did have the Maruka one. They are not doing a good job at all at this parking. Oh, hopefully they don't hit me. So yeah, as I was saying, back on track. As you can see, I can go off on some lovely little tangents in these videos. But as I was saying, the Maruka one more recently, that had the effect of essentially upgrading a lot of the TBC properties in the Clifton area, Clifton Hill Estate area, up to heritage listing. Heritage sites, pretty much, the minute you breathe on those properties, aka the minute you do any sort of work, you're going to trigger an application. So it totally changed the triggers for those properties. Now being revoked, no longer an issue. Well, revoked's not the right term to use, but it no longer applies, let's just say. But yeah, you always need to check, is there any weird and wonderful TLPIs out there that are totally going to change the nature of the triggers and all of that sort of stuff. Number 5, we come to DA history. So is there something in the approval history which you're going to create a conflict with? So did council previously approve that the tree be retained and now you're going to remove that tree to be able to get your carport out the front? Had that situation recently? Or did they previously propose, if it's a unit development, that you were going to have visitor car parking or open space in that location, and you now want to remove that to make way for car parking? As you can see, it's a common theme. A lot of people, when it comes to these proposals, they want to insert car parking. So is there now going to be a conflict there that we need to go back and lodge an application to remove the conflict with? Does that make sense? Basically, do we need to resolve the conflict by lodging another application? Something we've got to consider. And then last but not least, and most importantly, what are you actually proposing to do here? So many people, and I totally understand, I'd be exactly the same. I'd be guilty of this if I was in your shoes. But so many people fail to remember that we have not been on the journey so far. We have no idea what's proposed. I am forever getting a set of like prospective, what are they called? 3D, what are they called? I need coffee this morning. 3D elevations for the proposed scenario. And that's great. What's this showing me? Like, I have no idea. So then what I have to do is go into Google Street View, go into like realestate.com and look at the old floor plans, or most recently I've started using Vexel. If you guys didn't see last week's video, go check that out. I've become obsessed with this program. Like, I thought when I first started playing with it, I'm like, I'll use it every now and then. I'm finding that I'm in there every single day trying to get that 3D feature to look down the side of the house or to the rear of the house to work out in situations like this, is the window that's shown there on the proposed elevation or proposed perspective actually there at the moment, etc. So yeah, I as a town planner spend so much time trying to get up to speed with what's actually proposed. And if we have that information, that can totally change, or not if we have that information totally changes. Do we trigger, do we not trigger? Like, for example, are we talking a new house or are we talking a renovation? If it's a renovation in TBC, are you doing demolition work? If it's demolition work, are we talking internal exempt stuff, external accessible stuff? Or if it's external stuff, are we talking pre-47, post-47, pre-1911? You get the idea. Like, I mean, small lots, are we talking, are you within the 6 metre rear setback, the 1 metre side setback? Are you going over 25 metre lengths? You get the idea. Like, we need all of this information before we can determine, do you trigger a DA or not trigger a DA? So yeah, a lot of time is spent trying to work out what's actually proposed here, guys. So when I'm going through as a town planner trying to working through that list of 6 different things, I'm usually going to come back to you guys with probably 3 different responses or types of responses. The first response, and I probably should preface this and say what we always do is we run a Charlie report. If you don't know what a Charlie report is, go to our Instagram page, check out the highlights reels. There's a highlight reel that we've created there titled Charlie, funnily enough, which explains what Charlie is. But in short, it's like our AI robot. We created it back in 2018. It's evolved over time, but it generates this report on a property, which gives me all of the information in an instant at my fingertips. So I generate that report and I look at it. And if I'm looking at that report, I'm like, stock standard resi zone, like I'm used to living and breathing this zone every single day. Stock standard overlays, like nothing crazy that I'm not used to. Stock standard neighbourhood plan, again, nothing that's going to throw up curved walls. If I know, like I do now, there's no TLPIs in play, if I can look at the Charlie report and see that there's no post 2004 DA history on the site, and if I can look at the plans and just go, yep, there's nothing crazy going on here, I can work out what's what, I'm going to come back to you and usually respond with something like, look, as long as you stick to 2 stories 9.5 as you've shown on these indicative concept plans, you should be able to avoid a DA or a town planning application. Now, the word should is included in there. Number one, because I haven't spent the time getting into the nitty gritty of the plans, or usually at that stage we don't have the nitty gritty plans, like they're just concepts or ideas, which by the way, great, because I love getting involved sooner rather than later in the process. So usually we don't have the level of information to know exactly what's going to be proposed. It's more just high level sort of stuff. But also we haven't accounted for pre-2004 DA history. I had this come up on a job recently, bit me in the backside, so I learned. I was like, no, you can never just assume pre-2004 doesn't matter. You got to go back and really check through all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm going to say, look, 95, 99% sure if you do this, you'll avoid a DA. But I'm leaving that little door open, let's just say, to account for the fact that I haven't seen the full plans and I haven't gone pre-2004 in the history. Second type of response that you're likely to get from me is like, oh, there's a couple of non-standard things here. My gut says if you do blah, 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 you'll avoid a DA or whatever the answer is. So yeah, I'm looking ahead going, oh, I've dealt with that zone a bit, or I've dealt with those neighbourhood land plans a bit. This is usually what the wash up is, so I'm pretty sure here. But we need to do a detailed review to be sure. So in that situation, it's probably like a 70, 80, no, 80 is probably a bit high. Let's go 70% chance that the answer is going to end up where I think it is, or where I suggest it's going to end up. And then the final type of response is one where I'm just like, I have no idea here because I can't even work out what's on the plans, or it's a really non-standard zone, or more likely it's one of those really problematic neighbourhood plans that just has so much over-the-top information in it. Every now and then you'll come across a neighbourhood plan that you're just like, oh, there is so much information in here. This is so hard. I need to work through it all. And real fine-grained, nitty-gritty sort of, like, best example yesterday, I had a subdivision inquiry about a property at Forest Lake. Within this sub-precinct, there's a rule there that basically says, and I can't remember the numbers, but it's like, you can only have 8,000 properties within this area, or only 50% of units in this area. I can't remember the rules, but it was something where I was like, I cannot work that out quickly. Like, number one, probably going to have to go through Development Eye and see if I can piggyback off someone else. Like, has someone else done an application recently in this area and they've run the stats already, and I can go, okay, well, they lodged that application 3 months ago. Odds are there's only been a couple more of these type of products pop up since then. I can move there. Or do I have to sit there and count every single property in the location, like in that locality? yeah, that's going to take time. So that situation, I was like, yeah, I can't help you here. We got to do it like off the cuff. I've got to do a detailed review here to be able to sit down, allow me the time to work through things before I can give you a proper answer. So we've talked through the 6 different things or steps that I go through to work out whether a DA is required. We've talked through the 3 different answer options you can get. The final thing I want to talk through is the 3 ways that you can speed up the response that you get back, increase the accuracy of the response you get back, and just increase the chance of getting something that's bankable or usable that you can actually work with, let's just say. So first and foremost, pretty obvious, provide a better proposal description or better concept plans. So simply like sit there and just say, hey, by the way, it's a renovation, or by the way, it's a new build. And if it's a renovation, look, what we're hoping to do is we're going to demolish the lower level, we're going to modify the inside, we're going to extend to the rear, put a carport out the front, put a pool out the back. Like, give me a dot point summary of what you're doing at a high level. Because then I'm just, instead of going, I have no idea which direction I'm going to run in here, I'm like, swing, okay, that is the direction I'm running in. I've suddenly reduced the scope of what we're proposing to do here. One of the big things that I'm always getting Kim's help with is I'm like, just narrow my focus, girl. Like, can you review the previous emails, review these plans, and just get me on the right page to start with, so I'm not wasting time going, oh, we're talking about this. Oh, no, that's the wrong path. Oh, we're talking, no. Yeah, so basically, if you want to speed up a town planner's response, give them more information. Help bring them up to speed on the journey and what you've gone through and all of that sort of stuff. And dot point summary is great for that. Number 2, pick a town planner or go to a town planner who has specific experience within that location or that type of proposal. So I had a great example of this yesterday. I had a town planner, not based in Brisbane, had a town planner reach out and they were like, yo, one of my good friends, they want to extend this unit development here. Can you give them some advice? And I looked at it and went, mixed use zone. Oh, I don't know that like the back of my hand like I do all the other resi zones. So I went back to him and just said, yo, more than happy to have a look at it for you. But I don't have any off-the-cuff type advice or experience in this location. I'm going to have to do a detailed review. Do you have any other town planning contacts you want to reach out to that might be better suited to this job? God love him. He came back and he's just like, no, don't trust anyone else. We're happy to pay for a detailed review. And I was like, okay, here we go. So yeah, you can speed things up by finding a town planner who's got experience with that specific thing. And then last but not least, I had a certifier say this to me recently and I went, oh, that is good. I'm going to steal that one and suggest that to people. Certifier basically said, look, not looking to hold you to anything. I know you haven't had the chance to sit down and look at this properly, but what do you think about this? And I'm like, oh, instantly the pressure's off. I don't need to worry about covering my backside. Expectations are met. I could go back and go, yep, as you said, I need to do a detailed review to be sure. But this is what I'm thinking. We may have this issue. We may have this issue. Like, I'm suddenly not wasting time, triple checking things, delaying things, because I know his goal is just to get some initial kind of guidance. So yeah, they're the 3 things. Better description, find someone with experience in your area or specific proposal, and then actually set expectations a bit lower and give them the flexibility to cut corners, let's just say. Okay, hopefully that helps you guys. As I always like to say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got 3. Number 1, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number 2, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number 3, what was my number 3? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all.